Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Rundown. We're going to go over the MLB game scheduled for Thursday, August 10th, 2023. Now if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my $19 rundown best bet, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Thursday in Major League Baseball. First up, it's the Houston Astros taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Hunter Brown and Dean Kramer are your starters. Now, I know Dean Kramer's been one of the more profitable pitchers in baseball this year, and the Orioles are 5-0 in his last 5 starts. But I do think Hunter Brown is the better starting pitching option, right now going forward. I think he's in better form right now as well, as his last 3 starts, all quality starts for Houston, all 3 victories for the Astros. His control's been a lot better. While Dean Kramer has not been going too deep into ball games recently, 3 of his last 4 starts going fewer than 6 innings. He also has an ERA above 5 on the season at Camden Yards, so I do think the Astros are a tough matchup for him. I think they get on the board early, and while going into this series, the Orioles had the advantage in the bullpen. We saw in the first game that wasn't the case, as they blew multiple leads. Honestly, it was 5-0, and it was 6-2, 6-3, and of course 7-6 the final in favor of Houston. I'm going to take the Houston Astros in the first 5 and on the full game money line in this one. Next up, the Atlanta Braves taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bryce Elder and Bailey Falter are your starters. Give me the over in this game. The Pirates offense starting to turn things around recently. Bryce Elder's last start on the road against the Cubs, 5 earned runs, 7 total runs, and 2 homers in that 8-6 loss for Atlanta. But, Bailey Falter's 0-7 for a reason. He's got the ERA just below 5 on the year. He pitched pretty well in his Pirates debut, but I still think this Braves lineup has been one of the best lineups in baseball. We'll be able to get to him in this game. Give me the over here in Atlanta-Pittsburgh. Next up, it's the Minnesota Twins taking on the Detroit Tigers. Kenta Maeda and Reese Olson are your starters. Now, I think Reese Olson has a lot of potential in his game, and I do think eventually he's going to be a good starting pitching option for the Tigers at the major league level, but just right now he is struggling. I mean, the Tigers are 0-6 his last 6 starts. He's given up 4 more earned runs his last 3 games and a lot of extra base hits and home runs to go with it. He's particularly struggling against lefties, which makes sense as a right-hand starting pitcher, but lefties have about 100 points higher OPS than the righties do against them this year. So I would look for some of the Minnesota Twins lefties to have a big day, maybe hit a home run, maybe take a guy like Joey Gallo to hit a home run in this game. Kenta Maeda has been pitching really well for Minnesota recently. 2 or fewer earned runs each of his last 4 starts. The Twins are 4-1 in his last 5 games. Give me Minnesota Twins here on the money line on the road. Next up, we see the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Cleveland Guardians. Alek Manoah and Noah Syndergaard are your starters. Now, I'm not sure what we're going to see from Alek Manoah in this game, but I do think the Blue Jays, no matter what, will be able to get to Noah Syndergaard. So I do think it's worth a look to take the team total over for Toronto in this one. Syndergaard's first start as a Guardian looked really good on paper against the Houston Astros, a tough lineup. 5 1/3 innings, only 1 run allowed, but he had no strikeouts in that game. He gave up a ton of sharp contact in that one. A lot of at-bats where the opposition, the Astros, had expected batting average of 300 or more on lineouts or flyouts. So I think Syndergaard got really fortunate in that start, and there really was no surprise to see him go out the next start against the White Sox, a team that's really struggling against righties, but they were able to get to him for 9 base hits, 5 earned runs, and 4 home runs in that game. It was an ugly start for Syndergaard. I expect more of the same in this one. But Manoah, the reason why I'm a little bit hesitant with the Blue Jays is Manoah, yes, he's been better on the road this season. Yes, he's looked a little bit better as of late, but he still has some control issues. He's still giving up home runs. We saw 2 home runs against the Red Sox his last game. The Guardians do a really good job of limiting strikeouts, so I do think they could give Manoah fits here. I'm going to lean towards the over in the full game, the team total over for the Toronto Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays to win this game as well, because I do think Manoah will be the slightly better starting pitching option. Next up, the St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Tampa Bay Rays at Tropicana Field. Zach Littell for Tampa Bay and Matthew Liberatore for the Cards. Now, Liberatore, an ERA just below 7 on the season, has not pitched well at the major league level this year. He faced a Twins lineup, but struggling against lefties this season in his last start, and he gave up 5 earned runs and 2 homers in that 5-3 Twins win. Can't trust him here on the road against a tough Tampa Bay lineup. Zach Littell on the other side has actually been pitching pretty well in the starting pitching role for Tampa Bay. His first 2 games as a starting pitcher, he went 11 innings combined, only 2 runs against the Astros and Tigers, in a combined win of 16-2. They beat the Astros 8-2 and the Tigers 8-0. I like the Rays in this spot on the money line at Tropicana Field. Next up, the Washington Nationals taking on the Philadelphia Phillies. Patrick Corbin and Aaron Nola are your starters. Now, despite his recent struggles and overall disappointments in 2023, I still think Aaron Nola is the better option in this game with the better matchup. Patrick Corbin's got that ERA above 5 on the season. He's been struggling on the road this year, even more so with an ERA of 5.31. And, he's given up a lot of sharp contact recently, 5 home runs in his last 2 games against the Reds and Mets. Facing a Phillies team that has pretty good numbers overall this year against lefties. I think Corbin struggles mightily early on. I don't love this Nationals bullpen behind him. Aaron Nola, he's striking out batters, but he's giving up a lot of sharp contact himself. That's why I would lean towards the over in this game. But in the end, I think the Phillies' bats are too much. I think their bullpen's also better. So give me the Phillies on the run line, laying those 1.5 runs. Next up, it's the Kansas City Royals taking on the Boston Red Sox. Alec Marsh and James Paxton are your projected starters. I see this game being a similar scoreline to what we saw in the final games of that Phillies series for the Royals, where they were competitive offensively, but they just weren't enough for the Phillies. 8-4 and 9-6 were the final scores in those last 2 games. The Phillies offense prevailed. I think we see that with the Red Sox here against Alec Marsh and this not-so-great Royals bullpen. Alec Marsh has struggled this year with an 0-5 record, a 6.75 ERA, a lot of home runs, a lot of sharp contact. The control's not the best. His strikeout numbers are decent, but against this Red Sox team of Fenway, I don't love the matchup for him. On the other side, James Paxton, I do think could give him a few runs early. His last start at Fenway Park was not his best against the Blue Jays, but still overall this year, pitching well for the Red Sox. He's been a consistent starter for him. I'm going to take the Boston Red Sox on the run line with a lean towards the over at Fenway Park as well. Next up, we see the final game for Thursday's card in Major League Baseball. The Colorado Rockies taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. No official starter for Los Angeles right now, but we should see Ty Blach going for Colorado. Now, the Rockies have been a lot more competitive, especially offensively, in their last few road series than they were at the beginning of the season. But still, this is a team that traditionally does not play too well on the road. Overall, in 2023, not very good numbers on the road with a losing record by far. And I don't love this matchup for them going into this game against a red-hot Dodgers lineup. Ty Blach's got a 4.85 ERA, but an even steeper 6.58 expected ERA. As a lefty, facing a Dodgers team is crushing lefties overall this season and in the last 30 days, with top 10 numbers in OPS and isolated power, a low strikeout rate and a high walk rate. I think Blach and his Rockies bullpen really struggle in this game. The Dodgers, no official starter right now. We'll have to see who they're going to go with on the mound. Could be a bullpen game. I think Colorado will be able to chip in some runs, so maybe take the over in this game. But I like Dodgers to win this one and cover the run line in the end. And that's it. Those are the games for Thursday in Major League Baseball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your baseball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pickdawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.